Judge, I beg you, sentence him with the most severe sentence possible. He has nothing to contribute to society. He leaves nothing but a path of destruction. He's a worthless person.
God gets the final judgment. But please, Your Honor, I ask you to consider Josh killed a child over a plate of food and a lighter. Show him no mercy. I ask you, I beg you, give him the maximum time that Josh deserves, because we pay daily for a crime that Josh committed for the rest of our lives.
And you see the emotion in this case. Our bold question tonight: did Joshua Young help kill his stepbrother? And again, this is a case involving kids. The victim, 14 years old when killed. Joshua Young allegedly killing him at 15. So let's take a look at the family tree, okay? Because the family tree is so important in this case to discussing why everything happened and the influences. And when you look at it, we start with who was living together at the time of the killing of Trey Zwicker. It was the four of them: Josh Gowker, Amanda McFarland, the victim, Trey Zwicker, the defendant, Joshua Young. And what you got to do here is you split it up, because let's talk about one side and then the other. On this side, the defendant's side, Josh Gowker is his father, Angela Young is his mother. And Josh Gowker was living with his mother for quite some time. Then she died of a drug overdose. After that, he was shuttled around from foster family to foster family, eventually ending up with Chuck and Susan Stoneburner. But then his dad gets out of prison, gets custody of him, and they had a close relationship. After the killing of Trey Zwicker, he said, "My life is much better with my father." Now, on the other side, as we mentioned, the Zwicker family. Trey Zwicker, the victim, Amanda McFarland, his mother, his father, Terry Zwicker, and there is his significant other, Terry Zwicker, as well. And you look at Trey Zwicker, this young man, when you look at him, he's on the honor roll. He was beaten to death in May of 2010. His body found near a creek behind his high school, right around a soccer field. And Kira, you know what makes this case so compelling? When you look at the family dynamic, there's a lot of different parties, but a lot of times in a case like this, you look to the evidence, and the murder weapon in this case was never found.
And that brings us back to the bold question tonight: did Joshua Young help kill his stepbrother? And we want to ask you, so far, I know we have a lot of information to go forward with here, but as members of this jury, do you think family is to blame here? Yes or no? No. Diane, let's start with you. Why do you say no?
I just think it's too early to tell if his immediate family members had something to do with it. I think the father, or I don't know if it's his stepfather, but he, I believe, is the one who killed him.
So the jury is still out,
yes,
as we like to say.
Yes, it
All right,
is.
but I saw you, Brian, juror number 10 over here. You say yes.
Well, the reason why I say yes is I'm always reminded of this phrase my mom has taught me, which is charity starts at home and it spreads abroad. When you look at that family tree is a mess. And it's a mess because the family dynamic and the family unit is a mess. So, of course, when you have a family unit that's a mess, you have children that are also a mess.
And we talked a lot about this all morning and afternoon, Ryan,
Right.
Looking at that family tree and trying to figure out, I mean, how did we all put it? It was just so dysfunctional. It's got to, in some way, play a part here.
Yeah, and you look at the different people that Josh was with, many of them good influences, but at the end of the day, you have to wonder how that might have affected him and how that plays into what really happened in this case. So, we talk about Josh Young, but what about his father? His father actually confessed at one point, and you're going to see that evidence coming up.
Joshua Gowker had just been released from prison. He was incarcerated for robbery, assault, and intimidation of a witness. And then he regained custody of his 15-year-old son, Joshua Young. Could he have intimidated Joshua Young to help aid, assist, and participate in the murder of Trey? Or does that even matter under the law?